Hi, and welcome back to Map the Maze. As you can see, today is a little bit different. So, at least in my part of the world, it is the beginning of the Christmas season. Decorations are out, lights are up, people are running around town, going to Christmas events. And I thought I would share with you some of my Christmas prep, which is doing a Christmas card for the office. But the bigger reason why I wanted to do this is because over the last few years, as all of us have gone through COVID and whatever the arrangements were in our particular jurisdiction, one of the things that's become even more important to me than it was is finding time for flow, finding time to take a step back, put a break in the schedule, and just do something that actually recharges the batteries as opposed to depletes the batteries. Because one thing that I know is that for anybody who is experiencing separation and divorce, there often doesn't seem to be enough time to do anything. There doesn't seem enough time to be going to work, to looking after yourself, to making that other appointment to see the lawyer, to getting documents together, to going to mediation, to making sure that you look after your kids, to getting them sorted with everything that they need, particularly if they have challenges around school or medical. And all of that, I think, takes a real toll. One of the things that I did last year was run a few painting workshops for family lawyers. It's going to sound also strange, probably. But the reason I did it is because working to support families and clients who are experiencing separation and divorce can also be quite challenging, stressful, tiring. And it seemed to me that it was really important to share my coping mechanism with others, that actually putting aside time for something that you love, that you know recharges your batteries. So I know lots of people who do this in different ways. Some of them are ways that I think sound fun, some are not. So I have a friend who I know finds flow, finds the time out from thinking, from cognitive processing by swimming. So what she says is, when I'm in the pool, all I can think about is swimming. I don't think about what's happening or what I need to do or all of the things that I haven't done. I just focus on taking the next stroke. Wouldn't work for me, but I know it works for her. And I think everybody has something that they know is beneficial, that they know helps to give space, time to process in the background. So not cognitively trying to sort things out, but just in the background letting the machine run. But what you're actually focusing is on the activity that you're doing, whether that's physical, whether it's intellectual, whether it's artistic, whether it's baking, walking your dog, whatever it is. There is a lot of research to show that that's incredibly beneficial. There's also, I guess, there's a lot of research around meditation, which, from my perspective, achieving flow is a form of meditation because it is a way of quieting the mind and just being present, being focused on something else. And for me, you can see this is a very simple Christmas card, but for me, as soon as I get paint out and I start applying it or I start drawing, that's it. I am not thinking about how am I going to respond to that email, or what am I going to do tomorrow at the mediation, or how many other things have I not done today. All I'm thinking about is how much paint is on my brush and what color am I doing and how am I applying it? And that for me is an incredibly valuable time that without that, I'm not sure I would have made it through COVID. And I think definitely one thing that COVID has taught me is that making time to look after your mental health, making time to achieve flow is not optional, that it's something that we all need to do in order to be able to function and perform. And one thing that I often see, particularly for people who are going through separation and divorce, that as they mediate, all of the time seems to get sucked out of their day. All of the things that they do to look after themselves, to bring pleasure or joy or peace into their lives disappear, because everything becomes about the conflict or trying to resolve the conflict. And one thing I would just be urging you to think about as we start Christmas season and people start thinking about maybe some stressful family events ahead, or getting to the end of the year and trying to finalize their arrangements and start the new year with a new life moving forward, is this isn't finding what your flow is and scheduling it in is not indulgent. It's not lazy. It's not taking time away from what you should be doing. It is a critical part of ensuring that you can function to the best of your ability, that you can negotiate in your own best interests in a mediation. So what I would suggest is think about, what is it that takes you out of yourself, that puts you into a flow state, a state where you're incredibly present with what's happening, that you are not thinking about the 28 things you haven't done that morning, which that list never gets shorter, but what gives you a sense of calm and peace. And I appreciate that it can be fleeting because it's only while you're doing the activity, and then as soon as you stop you realize, okay, all of those things need to happen. But the reason why I would suggest thinking about what it is that gives you that peace is because if you can find it, if you can schedule it in, if you can do it, you will be much better prepared to go back in and to do the things that you need to do, to complete those tasks, to prepare the documents, to review that agreement, to speak to your lawyers. Whatever it is that you need to do will be easier for having given yourself the time to recharge. The challenge is that when we run on empty, we often don't think clearly and we don't make great decisions. And one thing that's really important to me as a mediator is that people are making decisions in the best possible way for themselves. So whatever it is for you, find it, schedule it, do it. Take the time to be at your best.